Hello and welcome to Bonnyrigg Rose TV and welcome to New Dundas Park as Bonnyrigg Rose welcome the visit of Forfar Athletic. A recent upturn in form for the visitors since Ray McKinnon's arrival before the winter break. Unbeaten in 6 games, wins over Dumbarton and away to Annan. The highlights of those. The visitors are going to be very tough, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are, James. I think last time these two sides met back in November, it felt like a real relegation scrap, and unfortunately Bonnyrigg Rose are still in that position where they're looking to kick up the table, but for Forfar their eyes are very much now on the promotion playoffs rather than the relegation one at the bottom of the table, and that's testament to the job Ray McKinnon's done. I think a lot of eyebrows were raised when he got that job. Of course, loads of SPFL experience, Falkirk, Dundee United, lots of teams right up there, so it was a bit of a coup for Forfar and it's paid off so far. So I think it'll be a very different test from the side that Rose took on back in November.
Yeah, former Dundee United, Falkirk, Wraith manager. It's a very experienced head, which is exactly the sort of person you'd want to try and lead a charge back up the table. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's a different occasion from this fixture early in the season. I mean, it was July, it was the first game of the season, it was a gorgeous day down at New Dundas Park. I don't think you can say that today, where the rain's starting to trickle down and it's absolutely freezing. But that was a day where Rose were fantastic, one of the best performances of the season. I think that goodwill spirit that carried on from the lone league winning campaign really carried through and spurred the players on. Kevin Smith scored Bonnyrigg Rose's first ever goal as an SPFL club, and then Scott Gray scored an absolutely gorgeous curling effort from that right hand side. He starts tonight for the first time in a while, so it'll be good to see that sort of magic again this evening. So they'll know that it's one of the only side in League 2 that Rose are undefeated against this season. I think that Stranraer are another side in that category. So I think that it will give Rose confidence going into this game, although it's a tougher test. I think they'll know that they can beat Forfar, and that'll give them a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, the victory back in July was brighter days, both literally and figuratively. Bonnyrigg Rose were near the top of the table at that point, but they're going to really have to show their survival skills now, and a massive game in hand to try and sort of build ground on the teams above them, because every game is must win at this point.
There's only 11 games to go. The clock's ticking, and although performances have been improving, the cavalry was brought in January, and you can tell the squad's looking a lot healthier. There was games early in the season where there was only 4 or 5 bodies on the bench, and maybe not even all of them fit. That's not the case anymore. It's looking a lot more healthy on that bench. So Rose have to take spirit in that. They have to keep plugging away. As I said, the performances have been a lot better. It's decisions or fluke goals or just little things haven't gone their way. That lack of killer instinct up front, hopefully we see that tonight, because these fans who come in week out, they've come out on a cold Tuesday night, they know how important this game is, and I think that the players will take that into this game.
And a few of those new signings in January about the Rose squad today, we'll go through that with you just now. Number 1, Paddy Martin in goals. Number 4, Kerr Young. Number 6, Alan Horn. Number 7, Xander Murray. Number 8, Johnny Stewart. Number 15, Josh Grigger. Number 16, Aaron Arnott, one of those new signings in January. Number 17, Connor Doan. Number 19, Scott Gray. Number 20, Kev Smith. Number 22, Callum Connolly. On the bench, Mikey Andrews, Kieran McGackie, Lee Curry, Ross Gray, Robbie McGill, Alu Fay, Kieran Mitchell and Andy Rodden.
Yeah, that's the new man, Andy Rodden, straight in on the bench, only signed a matter of hours ago. That the loan deadline closing in the lower leagues of the SPFL, and he's a player that Rose know well. Came up against him in the loan league a few times when he was on loan at East Stirlingshire. Player likes to get up and down the wings, just 21, so adds more youth to this side, which has been an important step, I think, in the sort of improved performances over the last few weeks. And his home debut that he made for Clyde in the season was in that 2-1 win for Bonnyrigg at New Dundas Park, where Rose got their first win on the opening day of what was then the Premier Sports Cup, of course now the Viaplay Cup.
And it will be the captain, Craig Slater, to get Forfar underway at New Dundas Park. We'll run you through the Forfar lineup. Number 1, Mark McCallum. Number 26, Max Gillies. Number 5, Mark Docherty. Number 19, Andy Monroe. Number 25, Adam Hutchinson. Number 12, Callum Moore. Number 10, Craig Slater. Number 14, Seb Ross. Number 16, Finn Robson. Number 33, Nathan Flanagan, and number 17, Ben Armour. The bench consisting of Thomas Brindley, Kyle Hutton, Matthew Aitken, Stephen McCluskey, Roberto Ndite, Logan Donicky and Jay Kennedy. A stern opposition visiting New Dundas Park, as previously mentioned, unbeaten in their last 6. Bonnyrigg Rose are going to show a lot of the similar qualities that they've shown in defeat recently and try and materialise that into victory.
Absolutely, and a lot of it will come from the sort of efforts of players like this, like Josh Grigor on the ball here, has been a great player for Rose, arguably player of the season with the number of man of the matches he's won, and his vocal nature is impressive for a player of his age. Only
so young, but such a mature head on the shoulders.
Absolutely.
A player signed in the summer to prepare Rose for this Cinch League 2 season, and a player who's transformed from what many would thought would have been a bit part player into one of the first names in the team sheet.
Absolutely. I mean, centre half is one of the strongest positions Rose came into the season with. There's a lot of talent there.
Gillies to swing it in, and it's gone all the way over. Kerr Young leaves that one to go. You were saying on Josh Grigor.
Yeah, exactly. Just a player who you thought would be that bit part player, that squad player, but he's really fought his way into the team. He's only signed on a short-term contract. People forget it was just until the end of October that Josh Grigor was in, and he really did prove himself in that time. It was from that first game at Clyde that I was just mentioning before the game kicked off, where his vocal nature was so impressive. I mean, there's no shrinking violets in this team. They're a big dressing room with big characters, and for him to come in at such a young age and make an impression on this team is massively impressive, and the fans have taken to him as well.
Such a young head amongst inexperienced defence here. As Gillies lines up the throw in down the line, it's gone over the head of Josh Grigor, and out for the throw from Alhorn. Ben Armour, the real danger man in that Forfar box as they look to line up for the long throw.
It's these sort of set-piece situations that have sometimes cost Rose this season. Conceded a couple from long throws against Stirling Albion. They need to be switched on today.
And Nathan Flanagan will be looking to capitalise on perhaps lapses in judgment. As Rose get out for now, Kev Smith helping it on the way. But Mark Dockett was there to send it back in, out by Alhorn. That's some ball, if
It's
intentional. And it's just dinked over the bar there from Ben Armour. We spoke about him earlier, looking for his 7th of the season there, sighting the summer from Alloa.
That pass looks fantastic. There's a bit of luck in it, and it just comes off Connordone's head and through to Ben Armour as he lifts that one over there. And there's sort of little lucky bounces that don't seem to be going Rose's way this season. That's what happens when you're down the bottom of the table, but thankfully he lifted that one over. Paddy Martin did well to rush off his line and put the pressure on.
Rose have been on the wrong side of the luck too many times this season. You just wonder when things are going to go their way. Perhaps Ali Faye's late win at Stranraer was an example of a slice of luck going Rose's way.
Definitely, there was some fortune in that one, some much needed, but and much deserved fortune, I would say. They've really been fighting these last few weeks.
Johnny Stewart with a big swing, and the referees called things up. Rose fans already frustrated with refereeing after Saturday's game against Stenhousemuir. We're hoping for a sort of refereeing performance that they can agree with. Dean
Every
Brett
fan
noticeably
wants that,
missing
yeah.
from the lineup today. Recently in the SPFL Team of the Week.
He's a huge player for Rose, and the energy that he gives down that right hand side, I think, is great. A deputy Scotty, as you notice, they're very different types of players, and I think Dino's just such a massive character. His running sort of demands standards of those around them, and yeah, just has such a great voice to have around the place. He will be missed over the next couple of games, but it's just you've got to roll with those sorts of punches.
And it's those long-standing characters that brought Rose success, brought them to the Cinch League 2, and it'll be those experienced heads that they'll need to rely on when times are tough, and times are tough right now as Callum Connolly presses, but they've got the ball at the park. Armour chasing that one down. Grigor looking to remain composed as he spreads it out to Cam Connolly. Nice drop of the shoulder, but can't get up to Xander Murray, who shows good fight. And I think that is a Forfar ball, as Craig Slater has claimed it. Xander Murray's been involved in a lot of physical battles. You just can't seem to get the turn of the defender. No man marking. What do you think of that?
I think it's getting back to full fitness for Xander. He had a sort of an illness that was keeping him out for a while, and it's the reason it didn't go straight into the Rose squad after that January signing. So I think it's just getting up to that sharpness again. Obviously, it's a level above from where he's been playing it, despite being a fantastic goal scorer in the Lowland League. So it's just getting up to that sharpness. But I think we're seeing flashes every time that we see him on the pitch, and hopefully it bears fruit tonight.
I remember the first game that was available after he signed, it was a game to forget, on and away. Xander wasn't able to get into the game, just trying to get fitness back up, and he starts today. Loose ball, and Kerry Young has been beaten to it by Nathan Flanagan, but Well in by Aaron Arnold to win it back.
It's a great footing from Scott Gray as well, just to break up that move. He sort of drifted inside. You might expect Dean Brett to stay wider in those situations, but Scott Gray, naturally a midfield player, you might see him drift inside, and that could help Rose in those counter-attacking situations.
Long ball from Kerry-Young. Arnold looking to get the beating of Mark Docherty, but Docherty comes out of it with the ball. Arnold still there and forcing a slack pass out of the defender. Mark Docherty had experienced head, but it's the youth that prevailed in that battle. Well in by Xander Murray. Arnold across goal, Cam Connolly's there. Can he get it under control? Last ditch defending there, Xander Murray's gone over, but Rose still have the ball, the chance still available. Kev Smith look at the turn of his man. I see his man, there's 3 men on him. As Connor Doan gives it back out to the captain. Stuart to Connor, showed good feet in the box there, but couldn't get the shot off. Kev Smith, good feet, dancing past one. They would have hoped to win a corner there, but a bright start from Rose there.
Yeah, first real sort of sighted goal there, and there might be question marks over whether Callum Connolly could have pulled the trigger. He might have been able to, but there was a lot of bodies in that Forfar box. You imagine it could have been blocked anyway, but that's when Callum Connolly's at his best. He looks bright in these early stages, and he scored some big goals for Rose in their title winning season last year. So if he can get up the pitch and be that real box-to-box midfielder that impressed so many players, staff, fans, everyone in his debut season last year, then I think that will stand Rose in good stead this evening.
Forfar going to get a team hard to break down. The recent fixtures as of late haven't been exactly filled with goals, and that's partly down to Mark McCallum's form.
He's been excellent. I think if we were to do a Cinch League 2 team of the season at the moment, Mark McCallum would be in between the sticks, because he's made the most saves in the division and has the second most clean sheets. It's a very impressive sort of CV that he's building for himself at Forfar. Of course, like I said, they were struggling at the bottom for a long time. He was having to make a lot of these saves, but they have built that real solidity over the last few weeks, and it means that Rose are in for a stern test, as you were saying, James.
He's been around the block, Aberdeen, Dundee United, amongst other clubs, but he's really found a home for himself at Forfar. He'll be trying to make a home of that Bonnyrigg Rose box.
And obviously, in sort of contrast to that, Rose have been sort of chopping and changing in between the sticks, and that's been hard to find that real consistency. But Paddy Martin has had a good few run now. I think it must be 6 or 7 games he's played in a row, so hopefully he does seem to be building confidence, although he was never really lacking that, and I don't think you could look at many of the goals that Rose have conceded in recent weeks and pin them down to Paddy Martin as they come forward now.
Long ball forward again, looking for Armour, who is offside. I think Al Horn did have that one covered, as Ray McKinnon rolls it back to Kerry-Young. Connor Doan confident on the far side. Decides to stick close, gives it to Kev Smith. Grigor goes inside, and the pass takes a wicked nick. Forfar able to get out of there. Mark Docherty again. Kerry-Young with the throw. Xander Murray again get involved in the battle, but comes out with the ball.
It'll be interesting to see how Rose do in the wide areas tonight, because as I was saying earlier, Scott Gray, naturally a midfield player, Connor Doan, versatile as well, but you would also say by trade would be a central midfielder. So how is that going to manifest itself in terms of wide attacks? Will it bring the strikers wider? Is it going to open up space for Aaron Arnott and Callum Connolly to make these sort of late runs from deep? So that's one to keep an eye on.
We've seen them already, Callum Connolly picking up the space on the edge of the area. He's in a battle here with captain Craig Slater. Forfar captain coming out with the ball and sending the ball long. Grigor goes over under the challenge from Armour. Play is allowed to go on. Neat flick back to Slater. And it's a poor attempt from Callum Moore. Minutes have been limited for him since Ray McKinnon came in, but a few of the regular starters on the bench, guys like Roberto Ndite, a bit of chop and change perhaps. Underestimating Bonnyrigg Rose, it's not something you ought to be doing. Rose will be happy if they have been underestimated, because Points are a premium at this point for Bonnyrigg Rose.
Rose enjoy being the underdog. They've relished that situation many a time. Some great Scottish Cup runs over the last few years against League One sides and Championship sides, so they'll be fine if they've been underestimated.
Neat little turn from Alhorn.
It does show the confidence that McKinnon has in his side. I thought Roberto Ndidi was really impressive when we went up to Station Park in November, marauding down that right hand side, and it was a real goal threat at times, breaking in, had forced Mike Andrews, it was on the day, into a few good saves. So I think the fact that he's not playing Thomas Brindley, who's usually one of those in the middle of the park, Kyle Hutton as well, shows that there's strength and depth.
Break of the ball for Xander Murray here, options with him, chops past his man, and it was risky but effective from Max Gillies.
I think
Queen's Park Loney looking to make a name for himself.
We'll see it again here. I think there's an opportunity there for Xander Murray just to cut that back to Kevin Smith a little bit earlier, and then once he does that, he's just a hopeful ball into the box. It doesn't quite reach Conor Dome, but it's good to see Xander Murray getting down in those dangerous areas.
Rose had the better opportunities first half. I'm hoping something can come here. Johnny Stewart with time, picks out Conor Doan, and Rose recycle play and look to go again.
It's nice that Rose didn't just go for the long ball there. Nice pass into the feet of Scott Gray.
Scott Gray showing some good feet, tries to get into attacking area, maintained the ball though. Conley providing the pressure on the fullback. Kerry Young cutting out in a big hoof up the park. Murray can't get it under control though. Doan looking for some neat feet. Out to Gray Rose again, looking to utilise the wings as Gray goes past his man. And Nathan Flanagan over there to try and close the move down.
Great battle.
Still there for Rose. You can hear the applause around New Dundas Park. Fans showing their appreciation for what's been a positive first 12 minutes for Bonnyrigg Rose.
And the run in there from Aaron Arnott to close the clearance down and make sure that Rose keep the pressure on.
Calls for handball, looked a bit overzealous. Kerry Young with a big swing at it. Kev Smith unable to get a touch on that one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all to see Kerry Young take a swing at that one. It's definitely in his repertoire. Not been able to show it as much this season, just the way that games have gone at times, but when he can get forward from that right centre back area, it's a real goal threat.
But when the goals are lacking, sometimes you've just got to have a go from those areas.
Absolutely. I think we have seen in recent weeks that Rose have been less shot shy. Aaron Arnott, especially in that sort of furthest forward of the midfield three, has been having a few pops at goal where perhaps nobody was in the earlier stages of the season, and just getting those shots. So, I mean, in terms of the stats, Rose were averaging the fewest shots in the league quite comfortably, so just to get that, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle, James.
Yeah, it's a lot of averages. One's bound to go in at the end of the day.
Certainly hope so.
You can hear the young team behind the goal just looking to put Mark McCallum off, but experienced head, that's not going to have any effect on him.
The young team quieter than usual tonight because of council laws, meaning that they can't play the drums at this time of night, which is a shame because it was quite the atmosphere on Saturday. But they've just been such a massive addition this season. I mean, a lot of them have been here with their parents or whoever before, but the fact they've all come together to cheer the team on. There's some great videos on our social media of just how much they've taken to the Rose this season. It's a great initiative by the club that under 12s getting free with a paying adult, which means we're setting up our fans for the future. They'll hopefully be here for years and years to come.
That's the good thing about getting the young team involved. It's, you want them supporting their local team, you want them supporting someone like Bonnyrigg Rose, because it helps with the sustainability of the club as well. As Forfar look to sustain an attack here, Robson with a nice little turn on Kev Smith. Out to Docherty with an aimless pass cut out by Aaron Arnott, and immediately looks to go long. Xander Murray showing a good bit of tenacity there. Johnny Stewart, man of the match last week, but a slack pass there. And Armour hammering it at said young team. And met by a sarcastic jeer from the fans behind the crowd.
Yeah, we can see it back now, and it's a misplaced pass from Johnny Stewart. You can see exactly what he was doing there, but the power that Armour gets on the shot is pretty impressive. see him properly winding up, and it fizzes right into the young team there.
Paddy Martin will be glad to see that one go past
That
his
was
left post.
Stung the palms on a cold February evening.
Again, Armour, the intended target. Rose just looking to get out of there. Armour effort from range. Rose just letting Rose know he's the top scorer, he's the man to watch out for.
Just over 50 minutes, James, and there's not been many real cut, sort of clear cut opportunities. You'd say Armour's chance early on to lift it over Martin was probably the best of them, but Rose have been battling well, looking to play a wee bit more football than perhaps has been seen, and that'll be encouraging for everyone here at New Dundas Park.
Well, Bonnyrigg Rose have conceded in first and 7 out of the last 8 games, always giving themselves a mountain to climb. They'll be hoping to grab the first goal here just to give themselves a bit of breathing room, which they don't usually give themselves.
And there was a time for this club where they very much were the comeback kings, and the way they got promoted from the East of Scotland to the Lowland League was a sensational comeback from 2-1 down with 10 men to eventually win the playoffs and become a Lowland League club, and that's what's really started this SPFL journey. But at this level, you can't afford to give away those early goals. You can't afford to always be a goal down, and they're learning that the hard way so far, Bonnyrigg Rose, and they'll need to cut out those errors and hopefully take the lead first this evening.
Well, speaking of commentators, Kirsten Scott Gray that's lost out there as Forfar look to get forward. And a misplaced pass allows Rose some breathing space for now, but Forfar come again. Moore trying to get away down that side. And a card shown to Kerry Young.
I mean, it's absolutely a foul. Whether it's a yellow card seems a tad premature, I would say. I don't think Kerry Young's been involved in too much so far. That certainly won't be the case over the 90 minutes. He likes to be involved, he likes to make those big challenges. I would say a yellow's a little bit early there, no doubt about it. It was certainly a foul though.
Couple of men to aim for. Andy Munro, number 19. Perhaps the man that they'd be looking to aim for there. Adam Hutchinson as well. Another big one up there.
Rose have certainly got men back in.
And comes the free kick. It looks like it's gone all the way over the top. And they'll be frustrated with that one. They've done well to fashion the free kick down that left hand side, but nothing coming off that free kick.
No, they'll be hoping for more quality in that sort of area. I think that, especially when you're shooting up the hill here at New Dundas Park, you've got to make those set pieces count. Rose will be looking to get a goal. As they sort of looks the wind's going that way as well, so it could be a tough one this evening.
It's a big crowd of bodies over there. And Rose get out of the football pinball in the centre of the park. Gray taking on his man. And the throw-in goes Forfar's way. Just too many men to try and get past there. Good work from Armour to get a touch on that, but Kerry Young will let it run. Seems like a real battle of the wings so far. Both sides just focusing on that left flank for Forfar and the right flank for Bonnyrigg Rose.
Yeah, there hasn't been much for Conor Doan to sort of latch on to and drive forward. Scott Gray's been having a fair bit of joy down that side, but it does look a tough battle.
As you can perhaps see the conditions from home. The rain just sweeping down as Armour looks to get forward. The lucky bounce falls their way, but the linesman's flag is up.
Josh Gregor dealt with that well. It shows the sort of confidence that he has. He looked like he was going to knock it back to Paddy Martin, which could have caused some problems, but instead pushed it away from goal. And he didn't know that the flag was going to go up, and that shows the composure and confidence that that young man has.
That's a wayward one from Paddy Martin. Kev Smith, the intended target, but a bit off its intended target as Smith loses out. There's a good charge and run from Robson, cut out by Johnny Stewart, good fight in the middle of the park. Murray out to Arnott. Tries to take it to the byline, unlucky. Miss a bounce there. Johnny Stewart again, just sweeping things up there. And for Kev Smith. Heads it wide, in comes the cross. Slater is going to clear for a corner. Did Dockett to keep that one in?
It's long been Johnny Stewart's role on this side, just to sweep things up and get attacks moving. Once again, he did so quickly there into Xander Murray. And I think you saw Johnny Stewart at his best on Saturday, the way he was dictating things and getting Rose forward.
A similar performance, leading by example. When Rose in a real fight. Here's Arnott, a bit of space. And the ricochet off of Craig Slater takes out for Rose corner. Callum Connolly been an aerial threat in an opposition box recently. Al Horn, Kerr Young also coming up for this one.
Yeah, I always fancy Callum Connolly to get on the end of these corners, and Conor Doan has been known for his deliveries. He's part of the reason he was brought into the club was his fantastic set piece specialism. Hopefully he can display some of that right now.
Arnott assisted against Stirling Albion from the corner. That one Rose unable to capitalise on. Strong tackle from Arnott, and it goes past his man as well. But Rose just unlucky there as Slater helps it out.
I absolutely love that challenge from Aaron Arnott. It was clean as well, there was nothing wrong with it at all.
A real bit of fight.
And it's, yeah, he's shown that in abundance in recent weeks. His fight, I'd imagine his running stats are way above anyone else in the squad, just from the way that he's constantly moving on that pitch, and that sliding challenge shows just how much he wants to be here.
I think you'll have been learning from Johnny Stewart in that midfield. A real bit of sort of grit about you, a bit of fight about you, because when you're in a dog fight like those are in this current situation, those are the exact sort of things that you're going to be wanting to carry you through.
No matter the situation, if you've not got a bit of grit and bite about you, you're not going to last at Bonnyrigg midfield. That's exactly what Robbie Horn demands of his engine room. He wants them to get about, he wants them to get stuck in, so those players further up the pitch can do the business. But Aaron Arnott has got that technical skill as well. He's on loan from Wraith Rovers, had a great spell at Beacon City, who are going strong in the Highland League at the first spell of the season, so great to get him in. And he just needs to show a little bit more of that final ball that we could see in recent weeks. And
Murray and Connolly getting in each other's way, but Rose come out with the ball. Kev Smith a bit far ahead of Conor Doan that one. But again, warning signs there for Forfar. They have to watch the wing play, because that was Doan completely open there.
Yep, and it's just that ball's over hit from Kevin Smith, and he actually is a good player in terms of bringing others into play. He's obviously widely experienced in the SPFL, and Conor Doan would have had that sort of, it's almost like a set piece with the ball moving. He could have really swung his foot at that one.
He's Rose's top scorer, but also a creative outlet as Rose get further up the pitch. Doan waiting for an option, nobody's shown so far. Perhaps setting up for a long throw into the box. Head out, Connolly alert to give it back out to Conor Doan for his second attempt. And Forfar again clear. And good work from Scott Gray to get the high foot to it.
That was important foot in for Scott Gray. It could have caused an overload if he didn't stop that one, but
Kerr Young caught out a bit there, Armour. Gives it back to Flanagan, and they'll take the throw in.
that's it, both teams are keen on the long throws. It's not something that Rose often use. I wouldn't say it's something that we see too frequently here at New Dundas Park, but it has caused some problems for opposition. I don't know if Ray McKinnon's identified that from the games against Stirling Albion this season.
There's an experienced head, you wouldn't be surprised if that's something he's picked out as they look to utilise that tactic. And it's not going to work out. It's going to be Paddy Martin's turn to send it long.
It seems like the rain has just cooled off a little bit here, which might make the kicking a little bit easier.
It's been a real sort of scramble so far.
Yeah, and there's been some flashes of quality, and I think that Rose have shown that they have got the ability to really cause teams problems at this level, but we just need that final ball, that final finish.
Kev Smith, Cam Corner in particular, show some good quality in the final third in the opposition box, but Rose have nothing to show for it so far.
And it's situations like this where I feel like
Kerry under pressure, and a lucky slip from Ben Armour takes the pressure off momentarily. Or so we thought. It's a Forfar corner.
I mean, yeah.
Dismay around New Dundas Park at that decision.
Of course we're on the far side, but I don't really know how that's been given as a corner, and it does seem, as you said, incredulity on that far side.
And they take it quickly. Arnott and Gray, the cavalry, over there to meet them. Here's Slater into the box, and it's met at the back post. Andy Munro, we mentioned him earlier as a potential aerial threat. It gets in about the back post. It had the curl on it, but just not enough to take it into Paddy Martin's bottom right corner.
Looking back at it now, and it's a fantastic delivery from Craig Slater. I don't think there's too many players in this division who have the technical ability that he does. I saw him coming through at Kilmarnock, and I was always a big fan of his. He's a great player with the ball on the deck. And that delivery there is sensational. Andy Munro just can't quite steer that one towards goal, but it's a really good opportunity for the visitors.
Formerly Kilmarnock, as you mentioned, plied his trade down in England at Colchester as well. Xander Murray in space. Well blocked, and Forfar's turn to go in the attack. Cut out by Callum Connolly. Alert. Josh Grigger under pressure from Armour.
Uses his body really well there, Josh Grigger, to stay in front of his man, to shield that ball.
The defenders just let him know he's not got time as he goes long. Just over 15 to play, plus stoppage time in this first half. It's been a real close one, no clear-cut chances for either side.
Yeah, I would say that Forfar have had the better of the chances, but Rose have had the better of the play. And it's about time that Rose turned that play into a real sort of goal threat and really trouble Mark McCallum, because as we've said previously, he's a fantastic goalkeeper at this level, and they're going to have to start peppering the goal if they want to trouble him, because we know that he will make the saves.
They've been peppering it around the final third. Perhaps a couple more pop shots just to test Mark McCallum, let them know that Rose are still here. Scott Gray been having to deal with a lot of those high balls. He's been doing it well so far. Forfar with a throw on the far side. Slater offering the option. It's lifted well into Seb Ross, who goes wide. Connor Doan closing Gillies down as Armour takes up the position in the attacking third. It's a poor one. That's also poor from Josh Grigger. Robson into Ross, who is trying a bit too hard there. Fouls Josh Grigger.
We need to investigate where the hoops are, James. That's the second home game in a row we weren't all red against a team that hasn't had any weight in their strip, so we need to look into that one. Do some investigative journalism.
Perhaps that's something for the people at home.
Maybe.
There was a shove in the back there. Armour, the offender this time. Josh Grigg, as I mentioned earlier, very commanding at the back. Armour and Ross both failing, so turning to fouling to try to get the ball off him.
And the referee's having a word with Andy Munro here. I think Connor Doan might have stolen a few yards with that free kick, which is what Andy Munro's trying to tell the referee. But you've got to take what you can get. Other teams have done it to us, we're certainly going to do it to them.
There was a team, fans, that have felt hard done by this season. waiting for their slice of the luck. Can something fall here? Don't. From halfway line sends it in. Connolly rises but doesn't meet it. Arnott lets the ball slip, and here come the visitors. Flanagan breaking. He's got Ross in the middle, and it's a poor attempt in front of goal from Seb Ross. No composure there. He's played lots since he came in. Scored this season, only the one though. And perhaps that's someone lacking a bit of confidence in front of goal.
It's a good pass. It is a tough one to take. It's sort of bobbling towards him there, as we can see. But yeah, it shows Forfar's sort of dangerous nature on the counter-attack there. That was a searing burst from them.
The only sign for the club in January is Seb Ross. Sign from Falkirk.
Ray McKinnon using his connections there at his former club.
It's the same with Dundee United. A couple of loanees as well from Dundee United. Finn Robson, one of those in the middle of the park.
Of course, that helps geographically as well, up in Angus, Forfar. But yeah, Ray McKinnon have plenty of connections in the game, and that's just something else where Rose have had to sort of build those up as the season has gone on. But there's people are taking more of an interest in Bonnyrigg Rose, of course, as the new boys in the SPFL. Spotted Ian Campbell, our both assistant managers here at New Dundas Park this evening. I was chatting to Robbie Horn and Davy Burrell before the game. And I think a lot of people are here. This is a good time to tick off New Dundas Park if you haven't done so already. If you're trying to complete the 42, I've been speaking to a lot of people who've come to New Dundas Park to make it their final stop.
There's been many that have flocked to New Dundas Park this season. Let's hope Rose can warm up their night here in the final 15 of the first half. Alhorn not with much time with Armour approaching. Gregor looks for the diagonal, which Kev Smith will chase. And Rose will get the throw out of that one.
Yeah, Smith using his body well there just to win that throw in, and that's what he's got to do more of. I think both the strikers as well win those physical battles. They're strong boys back there for Forfar.
Gray with options in the box. Xander Murray was running at the near post, and it was good defending there from Adam Hutchinson.
That's vital from Hutchinson, because Xander Murray is properly sniffing around, as we'll see again here. It's a great ball in, and you see that movement from Xander Murray to get away from his man. Would have been right through to the striker if not for that interception.
It was vital from Hutchinson. Started every single game since signing in January. A clear favourite of Ray McKinnon in this sort of resurgent 4-15 that he's building. Xander Murray getting a talking to.
He doesn't have too much height, Xander Murray, so maybe his job in here is just to distract Mark McCallum.
What he makes up, what he lacks in height, he makes up for in sheer willpower in those battles in the final third. Going in. The ball not completely cleared. As Kerr Young sends it back and Rose look to go again. And it's a bit too much on it from Josh Gregor.
Scott Gray meets that one well.
It's a good one. Kev Smith takes it under. And he's offside.
Just going back to that corner there. Conradon knows that he's better than that. He knows that his deliveries, his reputation in terms of deliveries is much higher than that. So it's disappointing for him. He'll be disappointed in himself. You heard a few groans when that delivery failed to beat the first man. And set pieces, it's something that's been thrown at Bonnyrigg in recent seasons, that they make the most of their set pieces and don't score too many open play goals. Haven't really been scoring too many from set pieces this season, so maybe that's something they need to reignite this evening.
With another long ball, doesn't have the same groans to it. Xander Murray provides chase. Doherty slipping on the rainy conditions, and the rainy conditions would have perhaps held that one alone. Alhorn next to look for the diagonal. We've not had much joy from it so far. The best passes of play from Rose would perhaps think have been where they've been going along the ground.
Yeah, and sometimes it's that initial reaction just to hoof the ball, maybe because there has been those defensive mistakes that have cost Rose at times this season. But I think when they have had that confidence, that patience, it's paid dividends and it's got Rose into some real dangerous areas, and that's perhaps what Robbie Horn will be telling his team right now as he barks at them at the throw-in.
It's hard not to rush things either. The high press from Armour and Ross, it's meaning things have to be rushed as Xander Murray looks to take up some space. Hutchinson over there with him. The ball's gone out of play for another Rose corner. Corridon looking to make up for some lost corners of the last few.
Yeah, you heard the shout from the bench there, come on Connor. I think it's really vital that Rose make the most of these set pieces, as I was just saying, and Connor Don needs to demand higher standards of himself. He certainly does.
If this one doesn't land on the Rose head perhaps.
Or Scott Gray, who's peeled off there.
And it comes, Kerr Young rising, chance still there. And it bounces wide. Biggest chance of the game for Rose so far.
I think it might have been Al Horn, but I'm not 100% sure.
Ball comes in, it's Kerr Young rising, and it's Al Horn, you're right. Not perhaps the man that you would want the ball to fall to in the final third. Someone like Kev Smith you would want it to fall to, but
Alan's
biggest chance of the game for Rose so far.
Yeah. And like you said, I think pretty much anyone outfield for Bonnyrigg Rose you'd rather fall to. That's nothing against Alan Horn, it's just not where his skill set lies. The last time he scored a goal for Bonnyrigg Rose was in December 2019 away to Dalbeattie Star, which was the coldest I've ever been at a football game, but an Alan Horn header warmed it up in a 3-1 win. And yeah, that's a long time ago, coming up for over 3 years now since he last scored a goal.
Well, years on, if there's any time to stamp your authority in the goal scoring books, it would be now. Josh Gregor with a looping head right. Slater helps it back in.
To be fair, I've done him a disservice, it was December 2020.
December 2020.
Still a fair while ago, Al Horn.
Stephen Rowe barking orders.
Yeah, very much the leader in this team.
Ken Smith loops it back, looking for Xander to get there, and Monroe, as mentioned, gets up there. Al Horn showing some of the same qualities there. He's looking to get the triangles of play, calm things down a bit as they go long now. Stewart and Robson the race for that one. You heard that clash of boots there. Jeers from the crowd to match.
And these Rose fans on their side are asking for a yellow card, and I do think that would be harsh, but when you give Kerr Young one on the far side for not too dissimilar challenge, I think that's the sort of standard that the referees set, and there will be questions asked about a lack of consistency.
Yeah, you could hear the contact as well.
Rose have piled the bodies forward.
Connolly, if he can win that. Monroe again up there. As Flanagan loses out. Johnny Stewart again. Fighting in the middle of the park. Young to Arnott. Trying to get the turn of the fella number 16, and they will take the throw in.
Really good
off
from
of Finn Robson.
Sorry, James, just really good from the skipper there in terms of breaking up the play and then getting us moving that one-touch pass around the corner. He really seems to be, I think his fitness is up a lot. He's really been working hard to get up to sharpness, and it's paying dividends. Of course, he's here to set the standard, and he's doing so well in these opening stages.
Gregor goes back to Paddy Martin, the safe option. Kev Smith backing up and winning the header. Xander Murray trying to sneak in behind, unable to though. Armour was offside, but allows Al Horn to step out. Slater with a long ball, and cushioned header from Al Horn for Josh Gregor to go long. There's space for Xander Murray to run into, and Monroe with the last ditch challenge there. Xander Murray rarely had a sniff of goal with a Bonnyrigg Rose shirt so far. That could have been a real chance. Yeah. As Gray now gets away.
I think Andy Monroe might have just underestimated how close to him there Xander Murray was, and he was able to pile the pressure on.
Johnny Stewart dispossessed in the middle of the park, unfairly deems the referee.
Yeah, but like you said, chances have been limited so far for Xander Murray. Hasn't really had a big sighted goal. I remember in the closing stages on Saturday, Kerr Young telling Xander Murray, you'll get one chance, you've got to take it, and I don't think he did get that chance, and we know how clinical he is in front of goal, that when he gets those chances, hopefully he can stick them in the back of the net.
Well, let's hope one of those chances comes here as Aaron Arnott's sends a looping ball at the air. Cam Conner heads it down for Alhorn, falling to the big defender again on the edge of the area in those attacking positions. Not looking for a spin. It's all getting a bit chaotic now. Rose need to remain calm amongst the chaos. Johnny Stewart didn't take it down how he'd wanted, but it's worked out for the skipper.
Alhorn in his younger days, a central midfielder. I don't know if he's rolling the clock back, thinking he's up there tonight, but he's been getting in some good positions.
Okay for handball, but Cam Connolly drives on. Just barging through blue bodies in the middle of the park there. Ball whipped in from Murray. It's got some good height and pace on it. We would have hoped for more runners in the box there to get to that one. Johnny Stewart, brilliant from Johnny Stewart, and he's gone over. Rose play on for now.
It's quite a lot
Captain still down, but pulling himself back to his feet, and now it's Armour that's gone over there, and play will be stopped.
Yeah, Rose.
A man down at the back there as well. I think that's Callum Moore. It is all getting a bit chaotic now. Moore, Johnny Stewart, Ben Armour, all been on the deck in the last sort of 20 seconds.
Yeah, Rose
and the
fans.
physio's getting called on now.
Rose fans asking, and the players as well, asking how that's not a booking on Johnny Stewart. It's a good advantage from the referee, and some Rose fans, I think, suggesting that he perhaps should have pulled it back. I think play had gone on enough, and the move was good from Forfar, but you go back to that Kerry Young yellow card, which I disagree with. I think once he sets that precedent, we've got to be looking at these challenges from Forfar players, which are just as meaty.
I think Rose could have tried to hold the play up as well. There was still lots of Forfar players back, and with Johnny Stewart being cut out of the game with that foul, perhaps it would have been a smart thing just to hold it up. Callum Moore, the man down here, been there since late 2021 after being released by Dundee. Minutes limited since Ray McKinnon came in, and on a rare opportunity from the off, this is the last thing he would be wanting.
Yeah, and Forfar have been okay, they've been settled in. We can look at Xander Murray now. We speak about his lack of chances so far this season. He'll be surveying the scene, hoping that he can get that chance and he can continue to put the pressure on. He's got a burst of pace. You've seen it a couple of times so far tonight. It's not perhaps what he was most known for. He's a clinical box striker, but I think in the 5-1 defeat the Rose suffered to Gallifreydon Rovers in the East of Scotland Qualifying Cup last season, Xander Murray got in behind a few times and really calm, composed finishes, and if Xander Murray gets in one-on-one, you usually bet him to score.
And he could have a bit more time in this first half of Callum Moore being down for that prolonged period, perhaps another 2 or 3 minutes plus the 45. Something just been signalled to the referee here. Not sure what from Ben Armour. Xander Murray forcing him back. See, despite being forward, Monroe still leading the shouts as Armour gets in behind. The touch is behind him. Big swing and a miss from Scott Gray. Now Flanagan's away, and the ball's all the way over. Gray's been good at dealing with those high balls so far. Perhaps a lapse there. Big swing and a miss. It's happened a few times in recent games. Flanagan's cross, it looked dangerous, but just too much dip on the cross.
Certainly enough to trouble Paddy Martin, that one. He looked.
And scrambling.
He was scrambling back across goal. Looks like he would have had enough to claw it out, but especially after Saturday when he was just, I don't even think you can blame that on Paddy Martin at all. It was an absolute freak goal, but he was caught out. Wasn't expecting that one at all. And he might be like a little bit more cautious, after Saturday's events.
Callum Moore back on the park now, as Forfar usher men forward. It's going to be Mark McCann to take it this time. So Gilly's got a bit of space out there. Armour again, he's shown he has the pace just off the back of the defenders. And Gray looking to get stuck in again. He's in a real battle with Flanagan out there, and Arnott comes wide to help him out. Cross is deflected. Ross takes it down well, but Josh Grigor just does better.
some groans there, but I think Josh Gur's just cleared his lines after Ross does really well to bring that one down and under his control.
Things were just getting a bit panicked for getting a bit of time and space in the Rose box. Just get out of there and regroup. Slater lofts the ball forward for Flanagan to chase. Alhorn volleys it clear and joins a few in the front row there.
And then the brave ones over there, they were there when it was raining over that side, whereas everyone else is crowded into the shed and under the safety of the roofs here.
The young team rushing round there now. Set up again for a long throw, which I've mentioned could have been a real talking point. Ray McKinnon's prep for this game, his second prep after the fixture was originally postponed. Ball headed, Armour tries to help it on. Ross was looking, and after 46 minutes, the first half is curtailed. Chances have been limited, but they go into half time. Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Forfar Athletic 0. Welcome back to New Dundas Park and welcome back to Bonnyrigg Rose TV. Your sides return out. Looks like the same Forfar team and the same scoreline as from the start. 0-0. See Josh Geiger busting a gut as he just comes in to your screen there. Bonnyrigg Rose, it's been quite a sort of consistent occurrence where they've conceded early, they've conceded in the first half, so it's already a confidence boost and a mental block that they've jumped to come in keeping a clean sheet in that first half.
Yeah, definitely, and sometimes when you in the latter stages you've been thrown on these players and there's loads of pressure, they've got to score, they've got to make the difference. Rose are already chasing the game, but you can just see him walking off the pitch there just now. Kieran Mitchell, if he could come on, it's still goalless, he could really change that game and add that attacking impetus that Rose will be needing.
There's been a lot of long balls, especially from centre backs, Kerry Young, Josh Grigger. Perhaps a bit more pace about the attack could really cause some more problems from those long balls.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing another long ball here, considering the way that the red arrows are lined up on this near side. I think we're going to be getting a punt from Connor Doan. Hopefully Rose put the pressure on early.
See Doan line up like ready to with that one, and he's searching for Kev Smith, and with perhaps hope things worked out a bit better. Innovative, if nothing else.
It's like a line out for the rugby.
That one's high. Big clash between Connolly and Slater. Rose come out with the ball momentarily. There's hoofed up the field from Hutchinson. The young team moved to that far side. They were in fine voice all through half time as well, despite the weather starting to pick up again.
I'm surprised they've moved. They usually like to give the opposing goalkeeper a hard time behind that goal, so I don't know what the thought process.
Maybe there's some making their way around at the moment, I think.
It could be that they know that here they're in the prime position on Bonnyrigg Rose TV Live.
Or perhaps it's because Football Adventures is over there.
It could be that.
That might be another reason.
They want to be in Sam North's video, and who can blame them? But you're right, some of them do seem to be moving around, but they're getting well into, they're getting their YouTube minutes.
Hopefully Bonnyrigg Rose will get some YouTube minutes covering a victory as well.
Which you can, of course, subscribe for free. Bonnyrigg Rose TV Live, get all your highlights and manager interviews straight there, brought to you by the fantastic RB Broadcasting.
Phenomenal plug.
That's what I do best.
Kerry Young sends that one forward. Not fully taken under control as Arnott and Smith keep the pressure up, forcing McCallum into the quick clearance. Scott Gray had made the run already, anticipating the second ball, and he's going to be up there as an option for Kerry Young from this throw-in.
Sander Murray struggling a wee bit with an injury. You can just see coming towards.
Kane Mitchell could have an earlier introduction than previously we thought. Kerry Young, Arnott and Gray both showing. Sander Murray was going to show for it there. There's a couple of moving parts there in that box. Sander Murray takes it down well. Slater gets the foot in. Rose just unlucky. I think Johnny Stewart caught Moore there. And McCallum's not letting the referee get away. He's determined for a booking to be handed out for Johnny Stewart there, and that's how you make yourself the pantomime villain to the new Dundas Park support.
And you like a pantomime villain, so they do. I think
So it was Nicky Jameson at the weekend that looks like it could be Mark McCallum today.
I mean,
And he would hear it from behind him and from the rest of New Dundas Park if a goal were to go in.
you're right. I think Johnny Stewart he's definitely clattered on there. It could have been a booking, but I think because Johnny Stewart's been on the receiving end of some tackles that also could have been bookings, that's perhaps where the referee's been a tad more lenient there.
You give what you get, is the words that Johnny Stewart was living by. And Arnott giving out to Dockett there. They had an interesting duel in the first half. A very consistent battle was the theme of the first half. That one's slack. Docherty let it run. And Rose hurrying up the field. Xander Murray seems to have recovered as he lines up against Adam Hutchinson. Kev Smith, it just came off the top of his head, but Xander Murray takes it down his shoulder, only for it to be cleared by Monroe. Gregor powering forward. Took a good touch considering the conditions, but the pass couldn't match it.
And Rose can capitalise here on
Be
that.
thankful of the loose touch from Forfar. It's like a fan trying to show Conor Doan where to throw. He goes for Kev Smith. Ross got the head in there. And then it was Moore who stepped in. Alhorn looking to restart the attack. It's a poor one there from Scott Gray. As now he's got Flanagan trying to run at him, Arnott providing cover. And he just clatters into Johnny Stewart. The referee sees nothing wrong with it. And Rose don't mind that as they look to move on. Gray shown inside by Docherty and he just accepts the invitation. Xander Murray unable to win it back. And smart play there from Finn Robson, just putting it out off of Aaron Arnott. Header was loose from Moore as Murray gives it to Kev Smith. Been doubled up on out on that far side. He goes over and it's a free kick for Bonnyrigg Rose, an interesting position. Just a bit further forward than the corner flag. It's going to be Conor Doan to take, and hopefully he can get a bit more out of this one than he previously has done from the corner kicks.
And that's all of Kev Smith's experience on show there. The way he used his body to pick up the ball and then drift out wide, and Scott Gray was asking for the ball back. He didn't think it was on, so does well, stays strong, wins that free kick.
Going to send in Kerry Young running. Cam Connolly maintains his position at the back post, heads it on. And it was a soft header which bobbles wide of Mark McCallum's post.
Tough one to generate the power there from Cam Connolly. He's getting backed into, which is what you'd expect in a situation like that, and he isn't able to really pack a punch with that header. Just bounces wide.
The young team letting McCallum hear it as he goes along. Robson didn't know much about that one, potentially a high foot, but Armour keeps the play going. There's a luck of the bounce there. Cam Connolly's header just coming off the back of Finn Robson's head and bouncing into an advantageous position. Josh Gregor letting it run, which could potentially prove to be a big error, but Armour is offside.
Yeah, it was lucky that Armour was offside there, because Josh Gregor didn't need to do that. He had the space of the pitch on the left hand side. He could have cleared it straight up the field first time, but
could have been a fatal error which Rose have been trying to eradicate. It's plagued too many of the games in the first half of the season, little mistakes. Setting Rose immediately on the back foot. A long header from Monroe as Armour provides chase. Flanagan accompanying him. Gregor tried to be cute with that one to Conor Doan, but it's a poor one. It's hard to be cute and have a bit of technique in these conditions.
and this second half so far just seems just as bitty as the first one. Lots of breaks in play, lots of wee fouls. And Rose might have to be sort of massively dark arts here to come out on top of this one, because I don't think much is going to separate these two sides.
Chances are at a premium. Robbie Horn may potentially look to turn to his bench in the next 10 minutes as the diagonal goes to Scott Gray's way, who helps it on. Kev Smith just beaten in that battle against Hutchinson. And Hutchinson was lucky that his pass found space. Al Horn has to go back as Armour was providing chase. That was long ball. That's Scott Gray down on this near side. Moving Rose momentarily with 10 men as Docherty sends the ball forward. Johnny Stewart doesn't totally clear it. Connolly takes a touch on the shoulder and the referee holds up play. He's had to stretch a lot for a lot of his contributions to the game. It'd be a shame if he can't continue on here.
It would be. There would also be pose big questions for Bonnyrigg Rose, considering, as we spoke about earlier, Dean Brett is suspended this evening. If Scott Gray had to go off, it's kind of hard to see who naturally fills that role. Perhaps Robbie McGill is naturally a right-sided player, could do that wing-back role. Would it force an entire change of shape for Robbie Horn? These will be the things that are flowing through his mind just now as physio Daniel McNaught looks after Scott Gray on that near
Maybe
side.
even a new man. Rodden on the bench. An unknown quantity for Forfar. They haven't prepared for him, only signing today. As a change is being made.
And there is somebody being stripped on that far side. It looks like it might be Robbie McGill. I think it is. Ryan on this camera might give us a better look. Yep, Robbie McGill set to come on here.
A January signing coming on to replace Scott Gray. The fact he's coming off at this near side instead of going across to the dugouts. It's a worrying sign. We wish all the best to Scotty.
Yeah, hopefully he's fighting fit soon, but it's a good chance for Roman McGill. He started down at Annan. It was a tough one considering just the way that game went. Everything seemed to go wrong for Bonnyrigg Rose, and he struggled to get back in the team since, but he impressed at lower league level for Stirling Uni. Got his move to Peterhead, who are having a bit of a torrid time in League One themselves, so this is an opportunity for McGill to stake his claim in the team, because there certainly is talent there. We've seen it ourselves.
When chances in the team are limited, these are the games where you've got to step up, and a decisive impact or a game of such importance would be massive for Robin McGill's future at Bonnyrigg Rose. Door into the 50-50 and comes out and gets the pass off as well. Receives it back from Aaron Arnott. But good play from Craig Slater. Flanagan skips inside and skips away from Arnott as well as Connor Doan. Just try to drive over to that far side, but the surface have its say on Flanagan's intended play.
It'll be interesting to see how McGill's introduction affects Rose's attacking impetus, because he's certainly a more forward-thinking, perhaps a less cautious player than Scott Gray. I'm not sure how much he's occupied that wing-back role. From knowing Stirling Uni in the Lowland League, I know they most of the time operated with a back four. I'm not sure about Peterhead. So how Roman McGill copes in this position will be interesting.
Armour showing his pace, Gregor falling over behind him, twists and turns past Alhorn and forces a fine save out of Paddy Martin. And that was a really dangerous moment for Bonnyrigg Rose, and the goalkeepers come up trumps.
Yeah, we're looking back at it now, and you think Alhorn's beaten there. You see that sometimes, but he uses all his experience just to put that pressure back on, and Paddy Martin off his line to sprawl to that save.
I think Alhorn might have even got a foot in there.
I think he at least put Armour off. I think you're right in terms of he might have got a little nick on there, and that's the composed head, the Rolls Royce of a defender that Alhorn is.
Especially when there's a pacey attacker twisting and turning on an already slippery surface, to keep your balance, not only to get the foot in. Cross in.
That was vital from Kerr Young, because Andy Monroe was right in at that one.
That was smart play from Connor Doan as well, just hammering it off of Craig Slater.
And the young team trying to spur Rose into life here. Clash of the Titans there between Kerr Young and Andy Monroe.
It was fairly lifeless second half, apart from that chance just there. Hopefully it can spark a sense of urgency into both teams. As Xander Murray, you mentioned the turn of pace, he's got it behind there, dragged down. Will he go for a red or a yellow? Referee ushering Arnott and Johnny Stewart away.
Yellow card in hand for the referee, and I think that's probably the right decision. I think there was enough width out of goal. There's a man covering in the centre.
Yeah, he's got Hutchinson as an option there.
Red would have been harsh in that situation, but it's cynical and it's a definite booking. And Xander Murray, we said he just needs that chance to get in behind. It almost came off there. Can something come off from this free kick?
Now, do you think this is a shooting position, or do you think he's got to go for the cross here?
I think he'll cross. It looks like he's going to go with his. Well, he's changed now, so he might be able to. It's one of those that it could bounce through the body, so perhaps deceive McCallum. But I think he will be trying to find a teammate here, Aaron Arnott.
We already said that it would take the spectacular to beat Mark McCallum. To beat him from that area on the form he's on, it would even take the impossible.
think he might be fancying it actually.
Not lines it up. And it doesn't beat Craig Slater. Imperious at that front post. Not fully cleared though. Joy Stewart in well as Arnold lashes it. And it's another one that rolls agonisingly wide for Bonnyrigg Rose. A bit of a P-roller from Arnott.
Yeah, it was hands and face from Aaron Arnott there. Stewart doing a great job of just putting that pressure back on, but that one's never troubling.
I don't think McCallum knew much about it with the amount of bodies that were there, but it's just sort of the lack of power on that one. The surface may have even slowed it down at this point. I think that came off Al Horn unintentionally as it's been helped on to Connolly.
I think maybe that wee chance in behind and knowing that he's a threat has given Sander Murray a wee bit more confidence. You see, he's struggled a little bit in his hold-up play, not even just tonight, but his Rose tenure so far. But that was a really nice first-time touch to get that move going, and hopefully we can see more of that as he tries to bring these attacking players that come on into play.
Arnold rising up there. It's all a bit chaotic at the moment. Johnny Stewart might have taken one on the shin there. High ball, one in the air by Robson. Kev Smith rushing out and he was clattered pretty cynically by Nathan Flanagan. Flanagan signed for Forfar in the summer. Another one with a rare opportunity, but he's had to track back here. As McGill goes central, Murray tries to help it on. Not totally cleared though. Johnny Stewart, Kelly Young wide. Good ball forward to Xander Murray on the turn. Gets a shot off Hutchinson. Composed defending on a youthful head.
I think that's an example of Xander Murray adapting to Bonnyrigg Rose's play. Kerr Young loves those arrowed balls into the box like that's usually for Kieran McGackie. Of course, he's struggled with injury this season and he's linked up well there with Xander Murray, who just couldn't quite get his shot away given the number of Forfar bodies in there.
It was great to see Kieran McGackie back at the weekend. Hopefully we'll see more of him as the season goes on. Hopefully he's more fun tonight as Kerr Young goes along with the throw in. Cam Connolly beaten to the header. Calls for handball seemed a bit ambitious.
I thought that was a Rose corner on first view, and maybe the replay will show us differently, but that did look to me.
Went down holding his nose. And speak of the devil, Kieran McGackie on the far side.
I didn't think we'd be seeing McGackie this early. We're just hitting 61 minutes and it's Kevin Smith who's going to go off, and I think that's probably the right change. I think Xander Murray has grown into the game as we were talking about, so it's good to see him stay on the field. Perhaps surprised that it's Kieran McGackie who comes on before Mitchell, but Keys is such a massive player for Bonnyrigg Rose, and you can hear the young team, they're going to go crazy for him. He teaches half of them at Last Way Die, and I think just round the corner, so they're big fans of him. He's always been a fan favourite round here. 109 goals for Bonnyrigg Rose.
A sharpshooter in the Lowland League, had limited opportunities to show it in this division. Xander Murray's hauled down again. Hutchinson the offender this time, and the referee sees nothing of it. As I was saying, Kieran McGackie, sharpshooter in the Lowland League, minutes limited in Cinch League 2, and he only got 5 minutes at the weekend. He's been desperate for chances to show his quality, but injuries have prevented that. It'll be a real comeback story if he can come back into the team and have an impact on the proceedings.
He's still waiting on a goal in the SPFL proper in League 2. His 2 goals this season have come.
McGackie already on the run. Hutchinson trying to keep up with him. McGackie, the powerhouse, holding him off, and wins the throw in and gets his team up the park, sparking a bit of life into this Bonnyrigg Rose attack.
Yeah, as I was saying, there's 2 goals this season. One's come in the League Cup, the other in the Scottish Cup. He'll be looking to get his first League One so far this evening.
They mentioned it was a bit lifeless. Kieran McGackie's introduction has brought life into the crowd and life into the game. As Conor Doan with the crunching tackle. Forfar continue the counter-attack. Johnny Stewart bypassed by the pass from Moore. Sebos goes for the turn, goes over under Josh Gregor's challenge. And it's Forfar's chance to threaten now from the free kick.
Yeah, well, I hope it's not some red and white bias creeping in, but I think Rose have been hard done by a couple of decisions in recent minutes. First on Xander Murray, he's been hauled down to the ground there, and everyone in NDP thought that was a free kick, and just there I thought Josh Gregor looked like he won the ball, but perhaps he did go in with a little bit too much force as we look set for a Forfar change. and it's going to be Stephen McCluskey who comes on, who's scored a lot in recent weeks. I think it's 2 in his last 3. He's been a real threat for Forfar. Started in the game up at Station Park last time. Still yet to see who's coming off.
McCluskey signed last season, released by Dumbarton, and has found a new lease of life out of Forfar under Ray McKim. It's going to be number 12, Callum Moore. Picked up a knock in the first half, was down for a prolonged period of time, and he will be making way for McCluskey.
I think that's an attacking change in there. Stephen McCluskey, a goal threat, usually a wide player. We saw him fill that role at Station Park.
Ball into the box. It's come off McGacky's head. Danger not cleared. Shouts for handball. Crazed shouts for handball. Rose play on. That was all a bit too close for comfort for New Dundas Park.
Of course, with the way this going, we've not been able to see a replay. The only thing that's making me, the Forfar players didn't react, but the fans behind the goal didn't, and it just makes me think that perhaps there was not too much in that one, but we'll have to see it back whenever we can. Might not get the opportunity on the stream, but it'll certainly be on the highlights.
As Rose are growing into the game, the shouts are getting more hopeful as Martin takes a heavy touch. And that's sloppy from the goalkeeper.
And here's the decision that we'll be able to see if there is a handball in there. I think that's bounced off Kieran McGacky's chest. I don't think there's much of a handball in that one. And if there is, I don't see it being an intentional movement towards the ball.
But as all co-commentators have to say on football games these days, James, I don't even know what the handball rule is.
It changes every week.
Every week. Forfar being ushered back here. Referee not happy where that throw was going to be taken. And Robbie Horn's asking the referee, where's he going?
Unable to get it clear. Ball fizzed in, all the way over and helped away by Robbie McGill, doing the defensive duties as well as the attacking.
I hope that gives Robbie McGill a little bit of confidence.
Nice play, jinking in. Chance still there. More shouts for handball. Those a bit more hopeful than the first.
And Rose have just got to have their attention right up here. Can't afford for any lapse of concentration. And it's a deep set-up here for Forfar.
All get a bit crowded at the back post. And it's the attacker that gets it clear. Not fully though.
There's a spare man on that far side.
Slater got a couple of options to go for. Chooses to go long. Slip on the surface. Perhaps nullified Xander Murray there. A long ball. Hopeful search for Flanagan.
Just got to wonder if when's the next time that Robbie Horn will turn to his bench. You think that fans will be keen to see Kieran Mitchell. He was lively again on Saturday, and I think that combination of Kieran's, Mitchell and McGacky could be a sort of mouth-watering prospect for a lot of these fans at NDP. I don't imagine they've shared the pitch much, if at all, this season.
We mentioned about a couple of pop shots in the first half. Kieran Mitchell loves a pop shot, just something to test. Mark McCallum, I believe, forced him into a save. Plays for a high boot there as Stephen McCluskey looks to go on. Already getting involved in the proceedings, Stephen McCluskey. A bit more energy to try and cause trouble to Rose defence, which doesn't look tired just yet, but they're showing signs of potential wilting as Forfar get forward more.
You just really do feel that It probably will just be a goal that separates these two sides, and it's so important. Even a draw, it does something for Bonnyrigg Rose in terms of stopping the rot, but all three would be vital this evening to
getting stuck in there. But again, Forfar just crowding things and setting up for Armour, who's tussling with Josh Grigger, and Forfar allowed to get more up the park. Did look a bit like a 50-50 there.
Yeah, I do think Josh Grigger maybe just holds on to him a little bit too long there. I think the referee's probably made the right decision. Just didn't want to get turned there. Josh Grigger doing everything he can to fend off the attack.
McCluskey just drifting away from the pack at the back there. And Monroe helps it on, perhaps looking for McCluskey. Paddy Martin collects. Sander Murray noticeably stayed up the field.
Nice to see Martin roll that shot.
He's drifting off the back, just too far from Robbie McGill.
Yeah, it's
Inventive but lacking the accuracy.
It's a waste when Martin goes short like that. It's not something Rose often do, those quick attacks forward for Robbie McGill to arrow that one forward. You could see the idea, as you said, James, just need that bit of quality.
A shove in the back of McGackie as the ball goes forward. Armour stumbles. Robson controls. Gives out to Docherty. The experience up against the youth of McGill, and Docherty gets past him. And he's brought down by the substitute. And Forfar roll the dice, send Docherty forward, and they've got a penalty from that one.
It's so similar to the one Dean Brett concedes just a couple of weeks ago, and Docherty's definitely looking to go down, but McGill gets caught wrong side, and it's what we're talking about. It's that defensive inexperience. Yeah, it's not his preferred position. It's not the situations that Robin McGill would like to be in, and it could cost Bonnyrigg Rose here.
Last penalty faced at New Dundas Park, Dale Carrick cracked the post on an evening fixture. Something similar, a similar piece of luck would be very much needed. An important game in hand for Bonnyrigg Rose. Fans making their way behind the goal to try and put off Ben Armour, expected to take the penalty kick, and of course he will step up. Former Alloman, the top scorer.
Imagine
looking to add to his collection, add a 7th for the season. Fans putting him off, Martin bouncing. Armour goes right, Martin goes left, and Armour is the one celebrating. Forfar snatch the lead in a hotly contested game at New Dundas Park.
it's a good penalty from Ben Armour. I think even if Paddy Martin had gone the right way, he would still be wheeling away in celebration like he was there. And Rose can have no complaints, and these next 20 minutes or so are absolutely vital for Bonnyrigg Rose's season. They've got to get something from this game. They've got to stop the rot and instill some confidence. They're going to have to come from behind once again.
And they're reacting now as players are being ready to come on for this last 18 plus stoppage time. Scott Gray was down injured, so you'd imagine that plus the substitution times will add some extra minutes into the bank for Bonnyrigg Rose to try and get something from this game. Looks like Kieran Mitchell, Ross Gray and potentially Lee Curry coming on as Armour makes way for Matthew Aitken. 4 goals and assists this season, signed from Albion Rovers last season, in and out the first team, and an opportunity to make an impact today for Matty Aitken.
Yeah, Roberto Ndite looks to be coming on as well for the visitors.
Yeah, Roberto Ndite on out right back, 20-year-old, signed this summer from Queen South. The only Englishman in a majority Scottish side.
Rose still waiting on making those changes.
And they're immediately forward.
Ross Gray, Kieran Mitchell, Lee Curry, all waiting in the wings.
Ball headed on. Dolan lining up the volley and he's missed it. Connolly tries the turn and the fresh Roberto Ndidi gets it away. Gregor closed down by the substitute, and Forfar flooding the Bonnyrigg final third. Alhorn is unlucky with the bounce there. As McCluskey sends it into the box. Rose clear momentarily. Robson picks up the edge here, gets a turn on Callum Connolly. Aitken somehow kept hold of the ball to go past 4 Bonnyrigg men, and they've still got McCluskey next to slide on the surface, and it's up to Xander Murray now.
Good hold up.
It down. He's got the run from McGill, which Johnny Stewart just didn't see. Carry on for McGill, skips away from Docherty, giving Docherty some of his own medicine, clipped, and it's a free kick in a dangerous position for Bonnyrigg Rose. Roy McGill desperate to make up for the mistake at one end by giving Docherty some of his own medicine at the opposite.
Yeah, this is a foul as well, but I think it's the first one that's for the booking. He gets clattered there. It's 2 fouls in a matter of moments on Robin McGill, and that's the type of action you want to see Robin McGill having, and less so what we saw at that penalty incident. It's how he'd like to play his game as well, and he's showing if he's not going to let that decision deter him. He's going to get forward, he's going to try and get Rose back in this game.
Kieran Midgaki always got something to say, and he had some choice words as captain Johnny Stewart, number 7 Xander Murray, and number 16 Annan Arnott make way.
And
Here come the cavalry.
unsurprisingly, it's going to be Lee Curry who comes straight over to take this free kick. The set piece specialist, the man who's conjured up so many magic moments from a dead ball. Can he do so here when Rose really, really need it?
Curry crafts out so many chances from these opportunities. Rose could really use something here. He's Dolan on the edge of the area could be an interesting option.
He's been watched.
Kerry Young and Kieran McGackie perhaps the more obvious, the more impactful options. He comes, evades Kieran McGackie. It did come off a Forfar head. I think that was Monroe's head that came off. Lee Curry again taking up set piece duty. Dolan again looking at the edge of the area. And it comes, headed out on the volley, and it's just escaped the clutches of Kieran Mitchell.
Tough one for Kieran Mitchell there to take. If he had managed to get his foot in front and maybe spin him behind or lay off another player. But for now, Rose have got to regroup and try and get forward again. There is still 13 minutes of normal time to play. You'd imagine there's a decent chunk of injury time, at least 3 minutes. There's chances will present themselves in this game. Rose have to take them, they have to be clinical.
Kerry Young wins the header, doesn't have to rise. Into the back of Kieran Mitchell there. Hutchinson being a bit more aggressive in the second half. And Lee Curry again standing over this one. Goes on, finds Kieran McGackie who is in space. Looking for some good feet. Can't get it under control though. And some good quick feet. Flanagan gets out of there with relative ease. Can't find Aitken though. Good feet from Robbie McGill. Skips past 3 men and finds Kieran Mitchell. And it was a loose touch, perhaps helped on by Hutchinson. Combo of Docherty and Hutchinson not allowing Kieran Mitchell to get the shot off. Phenomenal play from Robbie McGill though.
I think it would maybe suit Rose to go to a back 4 and really just give Robin McGill that licence, because he's shown his attacking impact they can have on a game here that we haven't really seen since he joined Bonnyrigg Rose in January.
And Kerry Young will perhaps look to release him here as Josh Gregor bundled over.
That drift inside there from the number 12 was excellent. More of that. as we head towards full time, please.
And what's been an often crowded Forfar final third, Roy McGill taking out 2 or 3 men would be vitally important for Bonnyrigg Rose. Connolly fouled. And
There's got to be a booking.
Sebros just tapping it away from Lee Curry. Lee Curry unfazed by the attempts to put Rose off, try and kill the rhythm that they've built up over the last sort of 5 minutes. Magaki again sort of looking at that right hand side. Robbie McGill there as well. McGill a bit more active, bouncing his movements here. Curry goes for the diagonal. Magaki rises and wins the header. Connolly drifting in, they've not fully cleared. Magaki takes a touch, tries to put it down for Callum Connolly. McGill gets up but doesn't win it. Forfar don't fully clear though. Rose have a chance to go again. It's all or nothing now as we head into the final 10 minutes. Aiken can't take it into his feet there. Gregor has Aiken pressing him. And the striker gets a touch on it. Calls for McGill to leave it, but it's forced Hutchinson to rush things. Carry on, asks for some movement from Magaki. And he gets what he asked for. McGill with a flick. Calls for handball. Over goes Ross Gray. New Dundas Park erupts in unison, all in agreement.
See again, I don't know if there's too much in that, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure
The leg was
penalty.
trailing. It would have perhaps been.
But those Rose players convinced they were a lot closer than I am.
It'll be interesting to see a unique angle
The two,
over besides the goals.
there's chatter between the referee and the linesman on that near side, and we know from Saturday that's not always a good sign. It's a yellow card for the gaffer. He thinks that should have been a penalty.
You can understand the frustration seeping out of the manager.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing goes their way, no slice of luck.
yeah, it's been tough. Decisions and luck and bounces of balls going against him, and I mean, the work that the staff, the players are putting in is just immeasurable. They've got full-time jobs to work, they've got families to see, but the amount of time that Robbie Horn and his team are putting into Bonnyrigg Rose at this moment in time, desperate to get us out of this situation, it just can't be underestimated. He's desperate for points more than anybody else inside New Dundas Park.
Paddy Martin goes long. Hutchinson in there, Lee Curry rushes in. Magaki helps on, Kieran Mitchell. Space and time, goes over, decision for the referee to make. And he's made the decision to, I think he's going to book Kieran Mitchell.
So many crowded bodies, it's hard for us to tell. Kieran Mitchell's
Kieran Mitchell.
incredulous, he can't believe it.
Kieran Mitchell into the book.
Again, it's hard to tell in that replay. Kieran Mitchell is certainly trying to. He believes he's been fouled. He's gone down.
You think if that's a booking for Mitchell, you'd perhaps think, should Ross Gray have been booked if the referee didn't see a decision to make for an earlier incident in the box?
There's definitely feet at the back of Kieran Mitchell there. Whether it was enough to go down, it's hard to tell from our angle. Those Rose players absolutely certain they should have been given a decision. It just eats into more time where Bonnyrigg Rose could really do. We scored a goal or two.
7 minutes to go as changes reign in. Flanagan and Sebros heading off for Forfar.
That's Kyle Hutton coming on.
Kyle Hutton, Champions League experience with Rangers, Old Firm experience as well. To close out a game, there's perhaps nobody better served for it.
He's got New Dundas Park experience as well, and that experience has resulted in him being shown a red card in a 3-1 win for Bonnyrigg Rose against East Kilbride in 2020. And maybe a man advantage could be a good sign for Rose at this moment in time, if he fancies repeating that one.
Nagaki winning all the headers. Curry tries to help it on, and Robson just clearing things up. See the line rushing high and DT just composed with the header. Hutton goes long. Gregor has to watch the man on him.
It's even just things like that. It's like a misplaced header from Roberto Ndidi doesn't sort of bounce into a Rose path, and it's all those little things that just add up over the season. It really feels like everything is going against you, just like that decision there.
Jim McGarry always very vocal on the pitch.
And Kerry Young too, those two are going to have a good moan at each other. They always have done, they always will do, as long as they're wearing Rose colours. Great powers off the pitch, but they demand high standards of each other, and it seems as though those have been hard to reach in recent weeks, not through lack of effort.
Alhorn, that's got to be a high boot in there. There's Alhorn not the type of guy to go down under the tiniest bit of contact.
No, he certainly knew what he was doing there, Alhorn. He was putting his body in the firing line, as he will do. Over 10 years at this club, enjoyed his testimonial early in the season.
Barry Martin goes long. Gale onto Gray, does well to take it down. And he's showing good feet to hold the ball, good strength as well. And another dangerous set piece position for Bonnyrigg Rose. They haven't taken advantage of the set pieces. If anything, they've been a bit careless for 86 minutes of the game. But if there was a time to flip that on its head, it would be now.
Yeah, a goal here would be absolutely massive and hopefully would spur Rose on to a win, but one moment at a time.
Curry to deliver. And it's met at the back post! It's Kieran McGarry! Back in the squad, back in the goals. He spoke about his quality in the Lowland League, and he's shown that there. Bonnyrigg Rose showing their survival skills. They're asking for how much time? There's 4 minutes left to play. 4 minutes for anything to happen.
It's what Kieran McGarry does, big goals at big times. And the big man gets his first goal in Cinch League 2, and you see how much this means to those players. They were straight back on there, immediately asking the linesman how long is left. They want the winner. Can Rose find it?
Forfar just backing off a bit, and that's not what you want to do when Kieran Mitchell's running at you. Life injected into New Dundas Park as a diving header from a fan in the crowd gets the ball back in play as quickly as possible.
And we said that the young team love Kieran McGarry, they love that goal, and they're in full voice at the moment.
They would adore him if he was to add a second.
They don't anyone to add a second. Huge moments here for Bonnyrigg Rose.
Hurrying things along. Connolly picks up, Curry in space, Kerry Young on the far side. Gives a bad Cam Connolly, that one's loose, but he does brilliantly to hold off the challenge of Kyle Hutton. Set long, McGarry rising in there. Connolly tussling with Slater. It's a header for Josh Bear to read. And Aikens went in hard on that one.
We can see the goal here again now, and I think it's got to be said of Lee Curry as well. We talked about Kieran McGarry being out the team and perhaps not able to make the impact that we would have liked this season. The exact same goes for Lee Curry. You see how much it means to him, the celebration. He's our dead ball specialist. and that ball could mean so much for the trajectory of Bonnyrigg Rose's season. He's been injured, he's been out the squad. Big moment from Cuzza.
Things just getting a bit heated. Rose need to remain calm.
I'm struggling to remain calm here in the gantry, James. Just know how much this means to everyone involved in Bonnyrigg Rose. A win would be huge, a point's big in itself.
Lee Curry led to Rose's equaliser. Can he lead to a winner? A minute to play plus stoppage time as Curry sends it in. Powerful header from Hutchinson. Miguel recycles play. Kerry on the far side and calling for it. And he heads it on. Magaki was there. Connolly's there at the back post along with Ndite. Ndite goes across the body of Connolly and the referee has seen that one all the way for what it was.
Yeah, and it's just the way those fouls work out. If that's in the opposition box, it's a dive and a yellow card, but Ndite's just thrown himself to the ground trying to buy a foul off Callum Connolly. He's trying to buy his team some minutes here.
It's given us a Rose ball. Into the dying embers of the game now. And it's Rose in control. Ndite saw that one all the way. Josh Gregor with a chance to start the move again. Not as far as Matty Aiken's concerned.
That's us into injury time.
Ordered backwards. Gregor taking a risk. The Rose have come out with the ball. A couple of fans rushing round to the far side. There's a feeling that something could happen here at New Dundas Park. As Kieran Magaki flicks it on. And it's gone out off of Hutchinson. Miguel to Kerr Young. As Lee Curry demanding for it quickly. Goes out to Magaki holding it up. Back to Kerr Young. It comes to Connor Doan. Doan, and it's saved by Mark McCallum in that bottom right corner. Would have hoped for a bit more power. A bit of force was taken off the pass through at the surface.
Yeah, there's a chance for Rose. Doan's got that quality to drill a strike like that. Just didn't get the power he would have liked on it.
Miguel has allowed that one to run, and McCluskey will welcome that with open arms. 91 minutes on the clock now.
Chance again now. Here it is with Connor Doan. It's actually a decent number of power on the shot. Just McCallum read it all the way. The form he's in this season.
It's taken a good bit of time, a good 25 seconds to prepare for this throw in.
Hope the referee's added it all on.
Away by Miguel, and Gray can't get it under control. It's okay though, because Kieran Mitchell's picked it up off of Docherty, and a ball at the top from Cam Connolly, punted out straight away from Hutchinson. Just looking at the referee there. Whistle not raised yet. Kerry Young got a bit overzealous, desperate to go for the equaliser. Josh Gregor lets it run across him and sends it diagonal. Docherty allowed time there. Gregor hauls over it, kind of the middle of the park. Full time whistle could be going any time soon.
Yeah, I imagine it was at least 3 minutes. That's just 30 seconds to go, and Rose's best chance might be to spring a counter from this.
Real
free
last
kick,
ditch stuff.
Forfar have pushed the bodies forward. They know that they could snatch a winner here.
You can see why Kieran Mitchell's staying forward. Handball in the area. You'd have fancied Kieran Mitchell running the 34-year-old Docherty. Robbie Miguel's had a bit of joy. Docherty has done the opposite as well.
Just got to hope there's another minute or so of injury time, considering.
Martin goes long. And DT heads it away. Will Rose be allowed one last chance from this? It seems so. One final roar from New Dundas Park. It's gone back the way. Gregor unable to get under control. Back to Alhorn. Switches it. Kieran Mitchell on the move. Again, Monroe up there. Lee Curry with a big swing at it. Monroe wins the header. Curry, good play. Get out to Doan. And then good work there. Mitchell flicks it on. McGill. Hits Magaki. And Magaki's put it in, but he's offside.
It's hard to know who the ball's come off there. What's happened?
I think it's hit his hand actually. I think it's come off his heel and hit his hand. McGill absolutely blasted it. Looked like it was going to cannon wide past the corner flag. Magaki was in there and he's unlucky that it came up off his hand. But the chance wouldn't have fallen from him had it not come off the hand. And it's all over at New Dundas Park. A point for Bonnyrigg Rose. Their backs were against the wall after a penalty kick put them in front. But they showed their fighting spirit and their survival skills as Kieran Magaki got a late equaliser. Could have been a late winner had the linesman not had other ideas.